Hello guys, FurballTheHammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster, is back again for another Hypixel Skyblock video. So for today's video, it will be an opinion-based video on 3 things that I feel will make the Slayer grinding experience a lot more enjoyable. Now, if your opinions were not mentioned in today's video, feel free to comment down in the comment section down below on what you think can be improved for Slayers. So without further ado, before we begin, I would like to say that we are almost at 10,000 subscribers. So feel free to give this hamster a little bit of your support by smashing the subscribe button. Also, on top of that, at 10,000 subscribers, I will be giving you guys a choice between for me to do 1000 tier 4 revenants or 2500 tier 3 tarantulas. So yeah, be sure to like and to subscribe because it really helps me out. And without further ado, let's begin with the video. Number 1. Transparency. This is my largest problem that I have with Slayers. This is specifically towards the developers and the admins. And what do I mean when I say transparency? I mean the actual RNG drop chance of items. For example, T Creopath is a god tier Savant Wolf grinder who recorded the rare drops he got across thousands of tier 4s, and when he did, he realized that hamster whales only had a drop chance of 15%. I myself recorded drop rates for items during Slayer marathons every week, and these are the stats for the allegedly so-called 20% drop. Toxic arrow poisons from 1000 tier 3 tarantulas dropped 14.8% of the time. Toxic arrow poisons from 750 tier 3 tarantulas dropped 16% of the time. Hamster whales from 400 tier 4 savant dropped 15.8% of the time. Toxic arrow poisons from 400 tier 4 tarantulas dropped 15.3% of the time. This is the reality, that these 20% drops are actually more like 15% drops. But some of you guys may argue that maybe Magic Find lowers the drop rate from 20% to 15% to make space for other drops. And my response to that is, yeah, maybe. But that should be told to us by the admins or the developers. You shouldn't be hiding these Magic Find mechanics behind your players to make your players find out that you were misleading us the entire time or hiding facts from us. In fact, Magic Find does not even affect 20% and 5% rune drops, and that isn't even remotely mentioned in the game. It's only something we know because someone from the Hypixel Player Council in some exclusive Discord server decided to screenshot what one of the admins said and posted it on the forums. Same goes for the drop rates of RNGesus drops. If you are going to give 10 items with a drop chance of RNGesus, a normal person or someone may think that they all have the same drop rates, since they all have the same rarity of so-called prey to RNGesus, which it isn't. Also, the actual drop rates revealed of RNGesus items such as Culture and Snake Runes being 0.45% base drops, while Scythe Blades are 0.05% base drops. These drop rates were only revealed by the admins and are nowhere to be seen in-game. And once again, they were screenshotted by some HPC council member or Hypixel Player Council member in some exclusive Discord server, and it was circulated on the forums. Like, why? Why can't you just tell us the actual drop rates of the items in the game itself? Is it that hard to tell your players who grind over hundreds of hours in a game what the actual drop chances of the items they are trying to grind for, and to tell them what they should expect instead of just saying pray to RNGesus and write the probability of being less than 1%? Why should a player go to some obscure 4 months old forum post just to see the screenshot of the drop rate of a single RNGesus item? Can you just tell us the drop rates of the items in game as well as the Magic Find properties? Because these are facts and important things that all your players should have access to and should know. Number 2. Controlled RNG. Zealots has a similar RNG system where the chances of a special Zealot spawning increases over time if you are unlucky. why not do the same for Slayers? Slayers has drops that are much rarer than Zealots, and we require to pay coins to even do Slayers, unlike Zealots where as long as you have the gear, they are basically free. So why does Zealots have this quality of life benefit, while Slayers, which requires actual coins and have much rarer drops, doesn't have access to these control RNG benefits where it helps unlucky players get drops? And this goes the same for Dragons, where basically there is no control RNG aspect. Only Zealots has that benefit. We need control RNG, especially for things that are this rare, and quests like Slayer bosses, which requires coins to spend, or for example requiring to spend eyes on a dragon. We need control RNG, which increases your chances of you getting an item over time if you are unlucky. Because if you aren't, you could end up with people like T Creopath, who has 3 million 7 XP, no flux. I don't understand why you want to punish your hardworking players. Like seriously, why? I have no qualms against lucky players getting their rare drops early on, but at the very least, why are you unfairly punishing your players who are spending the most of their time in your game? It just doesn't make sense. Why do you want players who spend hundreds of hours just getting a rare drop, who are unlucky get nothing? Because why? Because they're just unlucky, because that sucks to be them. These are the players who are spending time on your server. Why do you want to push them away just by not adding this system? This system would help many unlucky players who are willing to invest hundreds of hours into your server. I just don't see a reason as to why you shouldn't add it. 3. Mini boss changes. Even as someone who is a Slayer veteran with 899 in Slayers and is ranked top 15 in Tarantulas with over 3.4 million Slayer XP, I could steal mini bosses if I wanted, but yet I don't. I can't help but just feel that this mechanic of mini bosses being able to be stolen by other players is just plain unnecessary, and it creates toxicity amongst players. Should bosses be able to get their XP stolen? I think that's fine, because you merely lose combat XP and your boss combat XP can be used to help speed up your friend's boss summons and also your boss indirectly, because boss trading is a thing. But I just don't see a reason for mini bosses being able to be stolen. And not only does it have no reason or like no logical benefit behind it, it's plain toxic. And this is the reason as to why people think Slayers is toxic. Because mini bosses can be stolen, and in the Spider's Den, when you cannot find a private hub, people just steal mini bosses just like that. And because of that, it creates this idea that Slayers is toxic. So yeah, these are the 3 main changes Slayers generally needs, which actually when put in place will make Slayers a much more rewarding and enjoyable time. So with that, today is a relatively short video, but let me end off with my famous quote: "A Slayer boss a day keeps the /G kick command away." So be sure to do your daily Slayer bosses, and this is FurballTheHammy, your Slayer maniac, signing out. I hope you guys agreed, or maybe if you didn't agree, be sure to comment down in the comment section below. I will be sure to read every single one of your comments. See ya!